Majority of Americans don't make enough money to cover some of the basic costs of living.
I just need somebody else to tell me that they're living paycheck to paycheck.
So a quick question, how are we affording to buy clothes?
Since the cost of everything is going up, I decided to make some cuts. One of them was cutting my cloud subscription cost. You see, I was paying for Google Drive, Dropbox, and iCloud storage, each fit for a different purpose and accumulated over time. But when I added everything up, it was costing me around $38 per month or $456 annually just to store some of my files. So I did something most people wouldn't even consider, and that is cancel all of my cloud subscriptions. But wait, there is a method to this madness. You see, what I'm trying to do is not pay for the cloud storage solutions, rather build my own cloud storage privately that I can control and manage and not have to pay a monthly fee. This is the story of how I took control of my data by building a NAS solution. So for taking back control of my own data, I decided to look for a NAS system. So what is a NAS, you might ask? A NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. It's basically a smart hard drive that lives on your home network, ready to serve up your files anytime you need them. And here's the cool part. With a VPN like WireGuard that you can self-install at home, you can access these files from anywhere in the world, anytime. Now, you can go with any NAS system you like. Heck, you can use your old desktop PC, or you can build your new PC yourself and then serve it up as a NAS. But thankfully, in my case, TerraMaster reached out to showcase their new NAS system. This right here is the TerraMaster F4-425 Plus. With this NAS, you can store up to 144 terabytes of storage. Like seriously, this thing can hold everything like all your photo and video memories, your projects, your backups, all living in your control, not in some, Google or Dropbox cloud environment. For comparison, my iPhone has 256 gigabytes of storage, and I pay for iCloud $9.99 per month for 2 terabytes of cloud storage. With this setup, I can have up to 144 terabytes of storage, which can last me for years to come. So what I'm trying to say is that for a few $100s, you can build your NAS system that can serve you terabytes of storage for years to come. So the main question I would like to answer now is that, does buying a NAS really help solve your storage problems? Well, the short and simple answer is absolutely. I personally have been using a NAS device for over 2 to 3 years now, and I cannot emphasize how important having a NAS is in your life. On this particular NAS, I moved terabytes worth of videos, documents, and everything, and it's been holding stuff just flawlessly. Now, the best part is that I can access my files from anywhere in the world, and that's because I can use something called WireGuard VPN that allows me to connect to my home network, and then from there I can connect to my NAS server and then get my files from there. Now, this is not only a file storage server, you can also install a bunch of applications. Now, this device comes with a bunch of applications ready to be installed, like Jellyfin, Plex, like PHP admin for web development, stuff like that. The good part is that it also comes with Docker. So even though it might be limited on the number of apps that are readily available, with Docker and Docker Compose, you can pretty much install any application that's out there quickly onto your NAS device. So not only this is serving you as a file server, but it could be also your app server. And that's what makes this setup really powerful. This is just not your NAS, this is your entire cloud server that you own and operate. Now, this device comes pre-installed with TOS version 6. This is TerraMaster's own operating system. Now, I was a little bit skeptical because generally what I do is I install Proxmox right off the bat on any device that I get. But I thought, let's give it a try and see, what TOS has to offer. What really surprised me is that how simple and easy it is to, get it up and going. All I had to do was connect all of my drives and then boot it up. And then it makes a couple of beeps, giving the indication that I think it's healthy and it's up and running. From there, you can use your mobile app or your browser on your desktop or laptop and then get it all set up. The overall setup process was quick and straightforward. It took less than 30 minutes to get everything up and running. Once everything was installed, I was able to quickly create my NAS and then connect my Mac and my Windows machines and started to move files around. It's literally that simple and straightforward. So buying like a prepackaged NAS system from TerraMaster, the benefit is that it makes things a whole lot simpler. The great thing about this NAS is that it comes with a good mobile app that allows you to back up your photos and videos right onto the NAS. The best part is that all your files are accessible through the mobile app. The app can be installed on your Android or your iPhone, and you can even access it through, your iPad. So if you're trying to build your own NAS system, you have to configure and set up everything individually and manually, even connecting to your file server and stuff like that, which I'll show later in the video on how to do that. But what the NAS mobile app does, it makes things a whole lot simpler. So that would be one benefit of going with a branded NAS system like TerraMaster or Synology or any of those popular NASs that are out there versus building your own. So now let's talk about how much this will cost you. So this device retails for $569 and you do get an $85 coupon off of Amazon. So that brings your overall cost down to $485. But do note that for this price, you do not get any storage. Those you have to buy separately. So in my case, I popped in three 4 terabyte Western Digital red drives, each costing around $100. So in total, $300 for hard drive storage. And then I also popped in 3 NVMe SSDs, each costing me around $50 or $150 total. So in total, this device, as configured, would cost around $934 total, and you get about 10 terabytes of usable storage space. Well, hopefully all this information got you excited about buying or building your own NAS system. So from now on in this video, what I'm going to do is showcase how I set up and configured this NAS system, from installing the drives to getting it all set up, to setting up my first NAS and moving files across. So stay tuned for that, and let's begin. Let's start by covering some basics, which is talk about specs and features of this device. Now, as for specs, this device comes with Intel N150 chip, which is on the lower end of the spectrum, and it has 16 gigabytes of memory, which is plenty for running a media server and some applications. So on the front, you get the power button and the USB port. You do get 4 removable drives, which you can easily pull out and easily pop it back in. On the back, you do get a reset switch, an HDMI port so you can connect it to your monitor. You get 2 Ethernet ports, both running at 5 gigabits per second. You also get 2 USB-A ports that run up to 10 gigabits per second. And you get 1 additional USB-C port that runs up to 10 gigabits per second. And you have the AC adapter. This fan right here is for cooling the hard drives down. It also has 3 NVMe slots for additional storage, which can each support up to 8 terabytes of NVMe SSD. Oh, and by the way, this is an NVMe SSD. This is about 2 terabytes, and this holds a lot of data, and it's super, super fast. Also, it has 4 regular hard drive bays, which can support up to 30 terabytes of total hard drive space. Now, let me show you how to set up and configure this device, by which I mean to install hard drives and NVMe SSDs. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear out the bay, meaning that I'm going to go ahead and clear out the hard drive bays. So right here, I already have 3 hard drives installed, which look like this. So this is a 4 terabyte Western Digital SATA drive. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of those. And it's really easy to open this up. So all you got to do is push this in and pull it out. It's that simple. Next thing we're going to do is flip this device over so I can unscrew it. And there are 4 screws on the bottom. Next, all you got to do is slide it out. So just push it from the back and pull it out. And that's as simple as that. Next up, you can go ahead and install your NVMe SSDs. There are 3 slots over here. So I already went in and did that. And it's very simple and easy to do. So all you got to do is push the device in and screw it in. Now it already came pre-installed with 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. So I'm leaving that as is. I'm not upgrading it, but you can upgrade this to 32 gigabytes if you want to. Once you have your NVMe SSDs all set up, we're gonna go ahead and put this back in. So the best way to do that is flip this over, take your device and put it back in like so, and it should fall right in. All right, we're gonna go ahead and screw it back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my drives back in the way I pulled them out. And it's very easy to install. All you gotta do is line it up and just slide it in, and you'll hear a click sound, which means that the drive has been installed. All right, so I have everything hooked up and ready to go. I have the power cable plugged in, I have the Ethernet port plugged in, and I have my HDMI port plugged in. So it's very easy to get started. All you gotta do is use your mobile phone and then scan the QR code that's on the bottom of the device. And that would allow you to install the NAS Mobile App, which you could use to configure and set up your device. Sadly, in my case, it's not working. It says no device found. But for me, it's not a deal breaker because I was able to hook this up with my monitor and find out the IP address. And then from there, I can use my browser to set up the device. But after I got everything installed, the app started working just fine. I was able to connect to it and then, start backing up my phone to it and even, start accessing all the files on the NAS server. So app does work. For me personally, it just did not work during setup. Now coming back to the setup. So the next thing I did was I went ahead and typed in the IP address in my browser, and then I was presented with the installation screen. Next, I clicked on Begin Now, and then immediately it popped up with a warning telling me what disks I need to select. So by default, it was trying to make me install the operating system on all the drives. So you don't want to do that. In this case, I chose the very first NVMe SSD. That's the 1 terabyte PNY SSD. And I used that to install the main operating system. Now the setup process ran for a couple of minutes, maybe less than 10 minutes. And that was it. It was done and the device rebooted. And when it rebooted, it made a couple of beep sounds and then that was it. Once the installation was done, I was presented with the end user license agreement, which I accepted and began my setup or configuration process. So I gave it a device name. Feel free to put in whatever device name you want to put in. Next, I gave it a username. That's going to be the primary user. And then I gave it a super secure password. Next up, it presented me to sign up with my email. And for some reason that did not work. It did not send me a code. I went ahead and skipped that part. And finally, the setup was complete. I was on the main OS home screen. It's all accessible through the browser. Once everything got installed and booted up, the next thing I did was go ahead and verify that all of my hard drives and my NVMe SSDs are showing up fine. And to do that, I go into settings and look for disk. And then in there, I can see that my 3 hard drives are showing up just fine. And my 3 NVMe SSDs are also there. Next, you can click on volumes and see that I have 9.98 terabytes of usable disk space. So what TerraMaster TOS is doing is combining all hard drives and SSDs into one single storage pool. Now this I don't feel is right because I mainly want to use my spinning hard drives for storage and my NVMe SSDs for either hard drive caching or installing Docker applications. I don't want to combine everything and put it all in storage. So this step is optional, but I highly recommend doing this is to go into your volumes and go ahead and delete your volume. That's because we're going to recreate it the proper way. So what I did was I went into volumes and I deleted my volume. I did the same thing on the storage pool and went ahead and deleted everything. Okay, so time to build a new volume. So all you got to do is hit the plus icon, and then in there, just select your hard drive. So in my case, I have HDD 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to select that and then hit next. You'll get a warning message. That's fine. Just hit confirm. And for the description, give it a name and then hit next. For the file system, I choose ext4 because that's the most one I'm familiar with. And finally, confirm. Now this will create our new volume and our storage pool. Once that is done, the synchronization will start, and that could take a couple of hours to get all synchronized. It's just a one-time thing that this thing has to do. Now at this point, our NAS drive is ready, but now we need a user account, like a username or password for us to connect to that. So we're going to go back into settings and then click on users and basically go ahead and create a new user. So in my case, I just gave it a username, entered my password. Now it does give me a storage limit quota, which, could be effective if multiple friends or, family is sharing. Everyone can have their quota of how much storage they have. In my case, I'm going to put no limits since I'm the primary user and I'm the only user for the most part. Now, inside of permissions, what you want to do is leave everything blank and then hit next and finish until the user gets created. Next up, we're going to click on shared folder. This is what's going to share our NAS drive. So in here, you're going to click on plus and give it a name. So in my case, I called it Home NAS 2. And for the location, we're going to select our volume 1, which is our 7.2 terabyte hard drive space. I'm going to hit next. And then for encryption, I'm going to leave it blank, and then enable recycle bin. I'm going to leave that checked. So I'm leaving everything default. Next up, it's going to ask for permissions. So I'm going to set permissions by user. And then the most important step here is to, in the new shared folder section, you want to choose home file 1 read and write permissions. So you want to give your user, whatever user you created, read and write permissions to this folder. Once that is done, just hit confirm and you are all set. All right, next up, I'm going to show you how to connect from your Windows PC. Now, in order for us to connect, I need the IP address of the TNAS server, which we already found early on. So we're going to bring up File Explorer, and then in there, we're going to do / the IP address / home NAS 2. Again, home NAS 2 is the name of our shared folder that we created earlier. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to ask me for the username and password. And that's what we created also earlier. So again, type in the username password and we should be able to connect. And there we go. We are connected, and these are all the files and folders that I have on the NAS server. All right, so next I'm going to show you how to access your files from an iPhone. So the very first thing you're going to do is go to your Files app. And once you have that open, you're going to go down to Browse. And then you're going to see 3 dots at the top. You're going to click on that. And then you're going to choose Connect to Server. In here, you're going to type in the server name. So just make sure you know the IP address of your server. So it's going to be 10.0.0.103. That's my server name. And then now it's asking for a username and password. So I'm going to go ahead and populate that and then hit connect to the server. And there we go. We are connected. Now I can click on Home NAS 2 and all of my files and folders are now accessible. So if I go to software, if I go to anywhere, all my files are now accessible on my mobile device, on my Mac, and on my Windows PC. And basically I have my own cloud now. Well, in closing, what I would like to say is that, I was able to successfully cancel all of my cloud data subscriptions. Now I'm just using my NAS that is accessible from anywhere in the world for me, and I can store my files. I can even back up my photos and videos from my iPhone directly onto the NAS. So pretty much I've built my own cloud that is accessible for me from anywhere, and it works great with exactly the requirements I had. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. And if you have any questions or have any comments, let me know in the comments below, and I'll sure answer them. Well, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.